1 2 audio check. 1 2 1 2 audio check. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Motive Racing channel for tonight's action here in the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. We're here tonight for round 22 of 24 for this season 12 here. A season which has seen a new champion crowned here at the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. Those of you who weren't around on Tuesday night, or those the drivers who saw my slightly hesitant response to the end of that race, I wasn't sure whether or not to name him as the season 12 champion, but it has been officially revealed in the press box on the Purple Sector Formula 1 League Discord that Glenn is the season 12 champion, having finished in second place and Interlagos on Tuesday night, and second place was all he needed to wrap it up, despite his closest challenger Davidoff managing to win the race. Davidoff didn't manage to get the fastest lap, which he would have needed in order to have stopped Glenn from passing that 79-point threshold, which he needed to take the title. So Glenn, a massive congratulations to him. Obviously a fantastic season. Started off the season stronger than anybody else, and then towards the sort of the end of the first half of the season, towards the end of that part, it was seeming a bit like Glenn might be sort of falling apart a bit, but then the second half of the season, after the mid-season break, he really did come into his own. So suddenly started becoming a qualifying king after the first part of the season. Hadn't really been able to switch it on in qualifying as well as the races, but in the second half of the season, Glenn's been the fastest driver, the most consistent driver, and overall a very deserved champion indeed. But I'm sure David will be back next season. Obviously the battle for second in the championship is still very much on here as well this season, so we've got to stay tuned for that over the course of the rest of the season. I'm sure that's going to be an exciting one, and we're going to see plenty of battles for the wins, we hope, as well, because there's plenty of drivers up there. Good to see Drauga back on the tracks. It's been a while, I have to say. It's been ages since I remember seeing Drauga out on track. His teammate Ruck, not there at the moment, but yeah, I can't even remember when the last time I saw Drauga out on track was. It's been quite a while, but yeah, great to see Drauga putting the Aston Martin through its paces here as we're approaching the halfway stage in this qualifying session right now. But Glenn doing what he's done so often over the course of this second half of the season, and indeed throughout the whole season really. Currently 3/10 clear at the top of the leaderboard here, so doing a phenomenal job is our already crowned champion for this season, as Justify is just disconnected there, so hopefully we can see Justify getting back in a second. But we've got a comment coming in on the YouTube channel from G.C. Yep, very well, thank you, G.C. Yeah, good to see you. Good evening. G.C. actually not on track tonight. I don't know why. It's a shame. But nonetheless, supporting the stream, and I'm sure rooting for his fellow drivers, making sure or hoping that they keep it clean here tonight. C40 currently in third place at the moment. I believe Giuliano's teammate. Am I wrong, Giuliano? I think AlphaTauri teammate. C40 currently doing a good job there in third place. Only 3.5 tenths off of the fastest time being set by Glenn. We've got Magpie Zero saying T is a homosexual. Magpie, I don't think it's really on you. I don't think it's really your place to go and tell everybody that. You know, if T wants to come out of the closet, that's, you know, up to him. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, this is T that I think. Yeah, excuse the pun. That was actually unintended, but I feel like the tea was not yours to spill, Magpie Zero. But nonetheless, we've got Clem back out on the track. We've got Trager and C4 in the pits. Freddie's currently on a flying lap here. Let's see what Freddie can do, as he's currently just over half a second off of the fastest time being set by Clem. But obviously the teammate of the second place driver in the championship, Davidoff, as well. And yeah, Freddie's had a up and down season, it has to be said. I mean, he's been there in a few of the races, and by there I mean right up the sharp end, you know, battling for the win. But yeah, if he can more consistently, just a bit more consistency, I think is needed from Freddie, and he could certainly be a contender for the championship here at Purple Sector. He's coming into the pits here at the end of this particular run, and currently P4, so very solid so far here from Freddie. We got Mark. Oh, my TV, I just realised is really, really loud, so I'm just going to turn it down a little bit, because I don't wear headphones anymore. I felt like I do a better job on the comms when I don't have headphones, because I just feel a bit more free. And like with headphones on, I feel boxed in and suppressed, and I just can't. Yeah, it's easier for me to open up my lungs and really belt out the words when I'm not wearing headphones. I don't know why, it's just a weird thing. So now I commentate through actually, funnily enough, through the PS5 controller, and obviously I can hold the controller, you know, right up near my head and speak directly into it, so it works quite nicely. And it also keeps me focused as well, because I've got the controls like right in front of my eyes, so I'm like literally looking down the barrel of the controller through to the TV, and it's a really good way of just staying engaged. And it's like having blinkers on. It's like horse racing. You know, you got horses that wear blinkers. It's like literally this is like the equivalent of blinkers for me. But nonetheless, we got Mark coming towards the end of a flying lap here. Currently on a 1 minute 32.27 tenths of a second off the fastest time. As Davidoff there goes top by by a tenth of a second there. So Mark's bailed out of that lap just as we were already on board with him there. But Davidoff has gone and laid down a marker there to his rival Glenn. And Glenn will be seeing that, and he's actually on a flying lap himself here. So let's see what Glenn can do. Currently up through the first sector. Now let's stay on board here. Let's stay watching him and see what he can do throughout the course of the rest of this lap. Judah Sula says, a long story short, had the snip 2 weeks ago and it's not gone well. Had a day in hospital, yes. C Faulkner is my teammate. Okay. Rightio. Oh, that's Jesus. Yeah, we'll see you on Tuesday then, Judah Sula. Hopefully the recovery is going well for you, mate. Yeah, goodness me. Anyway, so that is obviously Davidoff having set his fastest lap there. It's coming in lap at the moment. We got Trauger coming on a flying lap here as he's coming towards the end of that. Oh, Clen's gone faster there than Davidoff by half a tenth, so that's pretty close there between Clen and Davidoff. So yeah, fantastic lap there from Clen. As we've got Trauger here coming through into the final part of the lap here, coming up towards the line. Be flat out here through this final corner. Can Trauger potentially bother the top contenders here? It looks like he improves his lap very slightly, but not enough to move himself up the order here. Stays in third place for the time being. C Faulkner currently in the pits, half a second off the fastest time. They're in fourth place. Matty Pitt, 6 tenths off the fastest time there in P5. Obviously, it was last season's champion, but it's no longer the reigning champion at the Purple Sector Formula One League. That now is held by this man here, Clen, from one champion to another here. And they're both out there on track at the moment. But Matty Pitt just coming into the pits here at the end of this current run. Wasn't here on Tuesday night to witness the passing of the baton onto the new champion of the Purple Sector Formula One League. But nonetheless, Clen has just backed out of it a little bit there in the current position that he is out on the track. Justify his also seems to be coasting at the moment, but it's gone into third place on the leaderboard. So Justify only 0.3 of a second offered the provisional pole time. Justify was actually the I've got to say, was the qualifying king in the first half of the season. Generally, you could bet on Justify to put it on pole in the qualifying sessions, but in the second half of the season, it's certainly been Glenn who's been the one to beat over a lap. I don't know if Justifies maybe put more focus into the race setups or what exactly has happened, but it definitely appears that Justify has put more emphasis in racing rather than qualifying. But yeah, currently third place at the moment in this session. Drauger is on an in-lap by the looks of it, currently coasting along. Who's on a flying lap? Let's have a look. Who's currently at it? I don't think anyone is. I think... Oh, Mark's on a lap. Let's jump on board with Mark here, as he's just starting a flying lap here. So currently 8th place in this session. Street Boy not too far behind Mark as well. And also... yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, so let's see what Mark's doing here as he's coming towards the end of the first sector. First sector timing beam is actually in quite a counterintuitive position there. It's just after the corner at the end of the straight. You'd think most tracks would have them sort of coming towards the end of the straight, but not Las Vegas. But Mark here, nonetheless, 1/10 of a second up through the first sector. Let's keep an eye on him, see what he can do over the course of the rest of this lap. In the meantime, Street Boy went 0.6 quicker in the first sector, or did he? No, he didn't actually. That's a timing glitch there. So that's got absolutely no relevance or truth to it whatsoever, and was actually a completely and utterly fabricated, massive setup lie from the timing board there. But nonetheless, we've got Mark here coming down through the final sector, and let's see what he can put on the board here as he's coming towards this this final braking zone, which leads to this chicane. And then obviously you want to be carrying as much speed through there as you can, so you can maximise your pace through this final section here, which is flat out all the way to the line. So it really is a pivotal exit out of that chicane. Here comes Mark then, currently in 8th place on a 1:32.2, and he improves there up to 6th place there, gains 2 places, gains 0.3 of a second. Mark there has really done a good job on that last lap, and we can see Rexy Boy's currently on a lap, 0.6 of a second up through the, that was on the previous lap, sorry. So yeah, I think maybe Rexy Boy might be on his way in at the end of this lap. That was a flying lap there from him. Drauger's coming into the pits at the end of this run as well. So currently Glenn, Davidoff, Justified, Drauger the top 4. C. Fortner's just starting a lap here. Let's jump on board with C. Fortner. Has been sporadically up there, right near the sharp end in some of these races so far this season. Has been improving over the course of the season. I reckon could be a contender for next season's championship, the way he's finished this season. Although saying that, I remember commentating on this league last season, the last couple of races, and I thought he was already a contender back then because he was up there in some of the races at the end of last season. But nonetheless, let's see what he can do here. Taking a very strange line through that corner, really tight. I like to give myself a nice view of that corner in case there's anybody on the inside. But nonetheless, C. Fortner has his own way of doing it, and is currently putting in P5 at the moment in this session. And he was very slightly up to the first sector there by 0.02 of a second, as Drauger's out of the session here. So Drauger will be taking no further part in this qualifying session. C. Fortner through the middle sector, 3.5 up on his personal best. His personal best is currently half a second off on the pole time, so if we continue to gain a couple of tenths in each sector here, C. Fortner could be on pole position here for this Las Vegas Grand Prix. This will be his final run of the session, because as we all know, the engine modes drop after the first flying lap. So C. Fortner here, it's got just a couple of corners to go onto the power out of the chicane. Now it's going to be a drag to the line here. Well, not quite a drag, because he has got a slight bend here around this final corner, but C. Fortner flat to the boards here. What is the time going to be? It's going to be pole by 0.02 of a second there. So C. Fortner has pulled it out of the bag right at the end of this session. Now what has Glenn got in the locker here to try and come back at him? Our champion of this season is on one final flying lap, and he crossed the line with about 30 seconds left on the clock. So he's going to get the maximum amount of track evolution here, is Glenn, which is going to put him in a slightly advantageous position. Not massive, but the track will ramp up ever so slightly. It'll probably gain you a couple of hundredths of a second, maybe a bit more than that, as we get to the end of the session, compared to when obviously C Faulkner did his lap. Maybe a tenth, or if he's very, very lucky. But Davidoff, we saw a massive slide there from him coming out of turn 5, and that might have cost him a chance of having pole here. He's currently in third place, but a tenth and a half down to the first sector, and I think that slide was just after he had that. It was just after he got to the first sector checkpoint, so that would have been an additional time loss here for Davidoff. Klein is currently out there, but he's 2 tenths down, crucially, through the middle sector, so he'll need to pull off an absolute worldie here in this final sector to have any chance of toppling C Faulkner off of that top spot here in the qualifying session. Here comes Glenn then into this pivotal chicane. He missed the apex there by about a metre, still carried a decent speed there on the exit though. Here he comes then through the final part of the lap. It's C Faulkner's pole. Is Glenn about to deny him and break his heart here in the closing stage of this qualifying session? Here he comes, the champion out of the final corner, and he does it by... No, he doesn't, he misses out. It was an invalid lap time from Glenn. Oh my god. He out-qualified him by 9 thousandths of a second, but it was an invalid lap time. My god. My god. Oh, Davidoff's gone and done it. Davidoff has gone and snatched it. Oh, C Faulkner. What are you saying? Oh, that's gutting ever C Faulkner, but Davidoff has absolutely pulled off a worldie there. A lovely lap there from Davidoff right at the end of the session. Fantastic job there from him. So Davidoff has done it by just under 2 tenths of a second ahead of C Faulkner. Yeah, it's not often that I feel a little bit disappointed seeing Davidoff taking a pole, but I tell you what, C Faulkner, I felt like he had weathered that storm with Glenn missing out. Obviously, Glenn was slightly quicker on that last flying lap, but it was an invalid lap time. But Davidoff, nonetheless, putting it on pole there and wiping the smile off of everyone else's face. C Faulkner and Glenn are going back to the drawing board here because it's a familiar face on pole, albeit not the familiar face that we've become used to over the course of the second half of this season, but nonetheless, a driver who I was saying in the first part of the season had the best combination of pole and race potential. You know, I think that Davidoff's a driver who, you know, you see taking plenty of poles and plenty of wins. Early in the season, I used to say that Clem wasn't a qualifying specialist, and then obviously the second half of the season, he's completely blown that hypothesis out of the water. Because he's been the qualifying king in the last few races. But yeah, Davidoff there doing a phenomenal job, and he also giving Freddie credit there in the comments because apparently Freddie was giving him a dirty slipstream. So no, in all fairness, you know, teamwork's a dream work. If you can make it work, if you can choreograph something like that, fair play to you. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, it's gaining an advantage, you know, it's cheating, or whatever. It certainly isn't, because ultimately somebody else is risking their session and risking, you know, wasting time where they could be putting a lap in order to help their teammate. Ultimately, it's a sacrifice, but it's something which can yield massive benefits. So ultimately, Davidoff there taking pole by 2 tenths, and that could have been 2 tenths that was given to him due to that slipstream off of Freddie. So obviously, kudos to Freddie for being the dream teammate there. Let's hope that he's not, you know, doing too much number 2 work though. You know, Freddie's a quick driver himself, so yeah, I'm certain that there's still 2 number 1s at Williams. But nonetheless, that is the qualifying session done. We're about to go racing here for the Las Vegas Grand Prix here tonight. See what makes the dream work, said White Shadow. He certainly does. White Shadow says, Jesus wept. The drama never ceases with this league. Amazing stuff. Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, it's very evenly matched as well, isn't it? You've got a load of guys who are, you know, similar level, and they're all pretty good as well. So ultimately, it creates a very unpredictable but exciting spectacle for us as we're now getting underway here. Full formation lap will be underway for round 22 of this 24 round season here for the Purple Sector F1 League here for season 12. And yeah, it's good to be here tonight. Good to be back on the mic with some enthusiasm. Well, I had a few days off this week due to some unfortunate circumstances, but things are all right now. So obviously, and I've had a lot of rest this week. So yeah, feeling good. But yeah, here we are then, lining up on the grid, moments away from the start of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. We've got Magpie Zero says, good luck, boys and girls. Have a great race and good luck to you early, sir. Thank you. Matty has a pretty Wendy house in his back garden. Has he now? What's that like? Oh, I haven't seen that. But anyway, I'll have to look on the Discord. I'm sure he's posted it, has he not? Anyway, here we go then. Lights coming on the head of the grid. We're about to go racing here for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. It's lights out right away. And looks like a good start there from Davidoff. Got away very nicely indeed. C. Fortner might have to cover off Clem. He's looking around the outside here into turn one. Can Clem keep it all the way around him? Or is C. Fortner going to be able to get good enough momentum here through these next couple of corners? He'll have the outside around turn three. That should allow him to keep the move here coming down the long straight. Enough DRS as well off of Davidoff. Not DRS, sorry, slipstream off Davidoff as we come now down towards the end of the straight. C. Fortner staying ahead of Clem with Drauga there in fourth, ahead of Justified. Mark, Matty Pitt with Freddie, Rexy Boy. Street Boy has just lost out to Truckee there. Truckee moving up into P10, and T currently running in 12th place at the moment as they come around on this opening lap of the race. Davidoff with a slender lead here over C. Fortner, who's trying to keep the pressure on the back of him at the moment. Glenn is right there with them as well as they're coming through this middle sector here on lap one. Glenn is very, very close to the back of C. Fortner. Davidoff is starting, has just managed to keep a bit of a cushion to them at this moment, but it's obviously very early days here in this race. No major dramas here on this first lap. Drivers keeping it together, no issues, no crashes, and no skirmishes from any of the drivers out there on track at this moment in time. As Clen here is getting closer on the back of C. Faulkner, he's looking to the outside now. He's going to try and go around the outside here. I think his straight line speed's not quite there compared to C. Faulkner at the moment, as Matty Pitt's moved ahead of Mark up into 6th place, so that's the job done there for Matty Pitt. And we look further down the order, and no major changes as of yet, but Davidoff out the front ahead of C. Faulkner, with Clen keeping him on his toes right now. Drag is also there, very, very close behind them at this point. As these guys have almost gap justified by over a second at the moment, so they're definitely showing that they've got the pace over the rest of them so far. Anyway, DRS being able this lap, that might allow C. Faulkner a crack here at the race leader Davidoff as they come down the long straight which leads down towards third. So is C. Faulkner actually close in? He's a little bit too. Be the best place as Freddie's made the move on Mark up into 7th place. So still a Williams, but not Davidoff, and Freddie there as now up a position. But nonetheless, we go back to the leaders because Davidoff currently trying his best to keep C. Faulkner behind, but C. Faulkner's really putting it up him at the moment. He's giving it absolutely everything here in his fight for the lead. Clen is keeping these guys on their toes. I tell you what, Drauga Justify is now starting to join this train of cars as well here. In fact, everybody's in DRS down to 11th place, so pretty much the entire pack is very concertinaed up at the moment. It's very evenly matched throughout everybody on this in this grid, as Drauga's very close on the back of Clen now as well. So Clen and Drauga currently queuing up behind C. Faulkner, who has got a DRS on the race leader Davidoff, which will allow him to defend here from this pack of cars. And he's able to do so nicely here into the chicane. So no one able to make any moves at the moment. It's a DRS train being led by the race leader Davidoff. And T's shocked off back a little bit off of the top 11 drivers here. So not sure. He's had a bit of a moment here in this opening couple of laps. But Mark has fallen off at the back of Freddie. Freddie, having made that move, has pulled away from him quite a bit. As Drauga has down the inside of Clen there into turn one. As he made that one stick, I think he might have done. Clen's trying to keep it around the outside, but he can't. And Drauga there has got that move done up into 3rd place. Clen trying to get the exit here out of turn 3. Is he going to be able to make this move? He's got DRS here. They've all got DRS, and Drauga's got the slipstream off of C. Faulkner, but Clen manages to get the move done anyway with better straight line speed. Clen's clearly got that car set up a little bit lower on the downforce than what Drauga has, and was able to make that move as a result of that. As Mark even has moved ahead of Truckee up into 8th place. Street Boy's also got ahead of Rexy Boy up into the points, as Justify dropped down a couple of places there. He's lost out to Matty Pitt and Freddie, so Justify here is tumbling down the order. What is going on? He's getting pushed into the wall by his teammate there, Mark, as he made his way through. Street Boy's now got ahead of Truckee as well, up into 9th place. It's all going off here in the early stage of this Las Vegas Grand Prix here tonight. My hiccups are horrendous, but I'm going to get on with it anyway. So back to the leaders here. Davidoff has got C. Faulkner right on his toe here, as we got Clen here, who's only a 10th behind, but C. Faulkner's now using the DRS to defend, and he's going to make the move here. C. Faulkner for the lead of the race, down the inside here on Davidoff, and he takes the lead here. So C. Faulkner, the driver who was on pole position until the dying seconds of that qualifying session, has now lost out, or is rather lost out on pole position, but has now taken the lead here. Davidoff is now down to third place because Glenn has followed C. Faulkner through as well here. So Davidoff down to third place, and C. Faulkner hits the front as they begin lap 4 of the race. Davidoff there looking to the inside of Glenn to turn 1 too far back to try and come straight back at him. But Justify in the meantime has got back ahead of his teammate Mark into 7th place after that little skirmish on that previous lap. You've got Mark ahead of Truckee with Street Boy, and then Rexy Boy and T completing classification at the moment. But Glen's got DRS now on C. Faulkner, too far back there going into turn 4 at the end of the straight. You can see the massive great ball there just ahead of you. Obviously that's a landmark in real life Las Vegas, and so much of this F1 game is incorporated real life Las Vegas city into the surrounding area around the track. It's really incredible the attention to detail that this game has. As we see, Street Boy there has got a 3-second time penalty for track limits as he's just ahead of Rexy Boy there, the two Ferraris running in 9th and 10th places at the moment. But back to leader, C. Faulkner still has a slender advantage here over Glenn. As Davidoff there, look, switching a little bit there of Glenn. I'm not sure if that was, maybe he was just focusing on something else for a second there, who knows, maybe a bit of testing and driving, I'm not quite sure, but C. Faulkner nonetheless has lost out to Glenn, so Glenn now hits the front once again here as they come down to the end of that little straight there into the chicane. Drauga's still right with these guys as well. Freddie up to 5th place has just quietly been picking his way up through the pack here so far. He's got ahead of Matty Pitt, Justify, and to name a few others here, but Freddie here is very much in this fight here out the front. Glenn though leading into turn 1 ahead of C. Faulkner, Davidoff and Drauga. So they all are at this moment in time. And Glenn here out the front with just under half a second of a gap here to C. Faulkner. As C. Faulkner just a little bit too far back here on Glenn to come back at him. But obviously Glenn has made that move on him very recently. Let's lead pack of cars here. But the 6 cars currently: Glenn, C. Faulkner, Davidoff, Drauga, Freddie and Matty Pitt, all in a big train here. So here we go then. C. Faulkner's made the move back on Glenn with the DRS, and now Davidoff also following him through here. He's down the inside there as Glenn's going to try and keep it there, but he can't quite manage to do that. Davidoff is now following him through, so he loses 2 places there to Glenn. Drauga there is still waiting in the wings in the background. I tell you what, Drauga's been sat in that P4 for a while now. Hasn't exchanged positions like these 3 in front of him have. Is he just saving the tyres a little bit, potentially? It could be a factor later on as we see Freddie a little bit wide there, and Matty Pitt might look to try and seize on that. He looks to try and go around the outside here of turn 3, although Freddie managing to get a better exit there out of that corner. Tell you one thing I noticed, the AI around that corner are rapid. I always struggle to keep up with them around that corner. They're really quick on 102 AI. But in the meantime, Glenn has moved ahead of Davidoff up into 2nd place. So Glenn just managing to seize on Davidoff's little mistake there as he went a little bit wide. C. Faulkner still has the lead, and Glenn is still within a second of C. Faulkner at the moment, so we'll continue to get the benefit of the rear wing unless C. Faulkner can manage to extend that gap to over a second before we get to the next DRS zone. But what a race that we got on our hands here. 6 drivers currently battling over the lead. They're all on the medium tyres as well, so no differential in terms of strategy. That we've seen this now for pretty much most of the races recently. We've seen everybody pick the same tyres. Medium tyres are generally the tyre of choice around any given circuit for any given first stint. As we see, Glenn's made the move back on C. Faulkner there, up into the lead. But these two swapping and changing left, right and centre right now. It's not really a big thing anymore, seeing these two swap places, because it's happening lap after lap after lap. Generally at the head of a train, in a DRS train, you see the top 2 swapping a lot, but the rest of them you typically don't see much because obviously they've all got DRS on each other, so the DRS doesn't actually have any benefit. You have to be really, really close and right in someone's slipstream to make a move in a DRS trade. It's not easy at all. So if your car isn't really, really strong in a straight line, you can pretty much kiss goodbye to any chances of making an overtake in a DRS train unless you're the second car in that train. But nonetheless, we can see C. Faulkner here still keeping himself close to Glenn, and he'll definitely fancy a crack in the DRS zone down towards the final chicane on this lap. I'm sure about that. Oh, Street Boy's crashed out of the race. My goodness. Street Boy has stuck it in the barriers. That is now going to be a safety car. So that's going to mean, I think, that we're going to see a few drivers coming into the pits here. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see drivers coming in and putting the hard tyres on. Which is, I guess, a bit of a shame. It takes away the strategy a little bit. Anybody going for the undercut now, it's going to be nullified, basically. Unless we have another safety car in this race, it's going to be a simple one-stop, crack on and carry on type of situation here. So Clean's into the box, and we see everybody else coming in now. See Faulkner in his box. I wonder if anyone's going to get held up in the pit lane here. It could be potentially an opportunity for people to get held up. Yes, oh my God, Davidoff's been there for ages. Freddie's double stacking behind him. So I think Davidoff's lost out massively here in the pit stops. Down to P5. So Clemency forward in 1 and 2. Drago's come out third, ahead of Davidoff. Matty Pitt's gained a couple of places there, up into 4th place. Freddie has gone from P6 down to 10th due to having to double stack behind his teammate, who already had a slow pit stop himself due to the congestion in the pit lane. For the Williams guys, that has not worked out at all. That is an absolute nightmare there for the Williams team, now down in 5th and 10th places. So what an absolute horror show for those. As we are here currently on lap 8 of the race with currently on the safety car. Here we go, the guys back on the way here for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. We can see here in the background we've got somebody shaping up a move here. As Davidoff sticking all over the back of Matty into turn one, but a little bit too far away there. Matty ever so wide there, going through that part of the track. Davidoff there can't capitalise just in a moment. He'll look to try and get a run here though. Coming down the long straight, is he going to have a chance here into turn four? He's well alongside here on the inside of Matty, and is Davidoff going to be able to make this move here into the corner? He's going to look down the inside. Matty giving the space as they go side by side all the way through. Matty keeping it on the inside for the next left-hander, and it's very, very tight, but Davidoff manages to stretch around the outside there up into fourth place with a lovely move as Truckee there's moved out of Rexy Boy. I think Rexy Boy just lost out to might have just lost out to Justify as well there, but Truckee managing to just make that move there on Rexy Boy up into seventh place. Great racing there between those two as well. But Clen's already got over a second of a gap here over C4 at the moment, so he's really settling into a bit of a rhythm at this point in the race. Looking very, very good at the moment is Clen. As we see Drauga here, also pretty close here on the back of C Faulkner as they're now coming around towards the midway point in this lap down towards the final sector. Here we go, he's going to look now to the outside. Got a lovely slipstream there. He's going to look to try and go all the way on the outside into the chicane. C Faulkner there covers the inside line off, holds onto that one for the time being. As Truckee there's going to go around the outside of Justify as well. But currently Claire out the front here by nearly 2 seconds over C Faulkner, as Mark here has moved ahead of Rex Boy up into P9. As C Faulkner's in the pits here, so C Faulkner deciding to come in for a bit of a strange pit stop there, because I don't think there was any real reason why he would need to come in at that point, so very strange. The medium tyres on, did he have damage? Yeah, must have done. New front wing going on the car, so he must have damaged his front wing towards the end of that lap, because he hadn't really dropped down the order or anything. It must have been literally the last corner out of the chicane. He must have done his front wing. So wow. Well, C Faulkner now 11th place, but with a fresh set of medium tyres, and the whole pack's pretty concertinaed. They're not too far ahead of him. Would be a very stiff task for him to get some good points, but anyway, then well out in front here by over 2 seconds over Drauga. What a shame obviously for C Faulkner, because he was up there in the qualifying, was second place on the grid. Managed to put it on the front row, and first stint was looking pretty strong. I think maybe the safety car's just taken a bit of momentum out of him, taking the wind out of his sails, and now he's down way down the pack and not really in a position to challenge at this point. There's Freddie here looking on the back of Justify right now. The RS open here for Freddie. Looks to the inside now, down towards the chicane, and he's going to make that one stick, I'm sure, up into P5. Davidoff here has moved ahead of Drauga as well, up into second place, as these guys are coming through the final corner now. Drauga a little bit too far away there to make the move into turn one. Tell you what, Clen has got some unbelievable pace here. He's got nearly 3 seconds of a gap right now over Davidoff. Just seems to be in another league at this point. On these hard tyres, it's really unlocked another gear compared to everyone else, of course, because I'm sure he's quicker on the mediums or the softs, but compared to everyone else, he seems to be rapid on these hard tyres. Drauga, in the meantime, has moved to Davidoff up into second place with some DRS. Now can these guys try and get themselves in order and try and chase down the leader, who is seemingly riding off into the sunset, or riding off into the night sky here in Las Vegas. Drauga did do the fastest lap on that last time, so maybe showing signs that we could have a bit of a race on. Oh, dearie me. Let's Davidoff there a little bit too far away on the back of Drauga at this moment in time. We can see these three guys back there for second place. They've got a further 3 seconds back to Freddie, who's currently running in P5 in this one. They've got Justified, Truckee, Mark and Rexy Boy all pretty close behind him at the moment. It's a 5-car train here battling over 5th place. Clean out the front, continuing to hold the lead, but it's coming down quite a lot as well. Drauga and Davidoff have certainly taken a big chunk out of his lead over the course of this lap. Mark, in the meantime, has moved ahead of Truckee up into 7th place as this battle from 5th down to 9th place continues to develop here for these 5 drivers here. Freddie leads the charge of Justify, Mark, Truckee and Rexy Boy. And here comes Justify on the back of Freddie, looking pretty close here to the outside. In the meantime, Davidoff's got ahead of Drauga for 2nd place. We're battle for 5th though, as Justify has got that one done into the chicane. Freddie looked back down the inside, tried to keep him under some pressure, but that is job done there for Justify. Lovely move there from him. As we see out the front, Claire has managed to extend the gap a little bit to these other guys. Matty Pitt there with the fast start of the race from 4th place, but obviously now he's got Davidoff and Drauga right in front of him, which might inhibit his ability to maximise his pace. But Claire out the front with almost a 3-second gap over these guys at this moment in time. Here comes Drauga then. He's breezed past Davidoff there with DRS. I'll tell you what, Davidoff didn't have DRS because he was leading the train of cars from himself, Drauga and Matty Pitt, but Drauga there breathing past him with no further ado as Freddie has got ahead of Justify up into P5, as Truckee has got around the outside of Rexy Boy as well through the chicane up into 8th place. So it's all happening right now. Drivers chopping and changing at the moment, but in the meantime it's still Clan out the front with just under 3 seconds of a gap over these 3 guys behind him. Oh, Matty Pitt's got a 3-second time penalty there. So Matty Pitt's got done for track limits. Must have, well, obviously has maxed out his tokens. You get 2 free tokens of cutting the track, and then the 3rd time you get a 3-second penalty. So obviously Matty Pitt and C Fulton are the 2 to have maxed out their free discrepancies. Indiscretions, that was the word I was thinking of. So obviously you can tactically decide when to gain a little advantage, but you have to be careful you don't gain a big advantage, because if you do that, you get a 3-second time penalty straight off the bat, and if you gain a big advantage, a massive advantage, you get a 10-second penalty. So you really do have to watch out, you know, if you want to take a little bit of advantage through a certain corner, then you've got to be careful that that it's not obviously deliberate, because if that's the case, you will get a 3-second penalty straight away. So maybe if you do want to cut a corner, maybe just lift up the throttle a little bit, make it look like it might not have been intentional. As in the meantime, C Fulton is into the pit suit at lap 15, so he's coming in again. He's already been in twice in this race, so what on earth is he doing? He's now gone for the soft tyre, mate. C4, this is not one of those tyre strategy races at Red Arrows, mate. Come on. What's going on? Oh, safety car's out. Why? What on earth for? What on earth for? Well, who on earth has choreographed this then? What's this? Like somebody's like rolling the camera like, oh, 3, 2, 1, action! Bring the safety car out. Clearly some kind of orchestrated situation there. I mean, you have to be a bloody idiot not to see that. It's been clearly set up for the cameras, that one. The safety car has come out at the most convenient of times. The C4 who was in the pits. My goodness me. Would you believe it? Well, that was convenient, wasn't it? As we see Clen into the pits, so is Davidoff, so is Draga, so Matty Pitt follows him in as well. All of a sudden, everyone's in the pits. Jordan Hillier there saying, hello mate, good evening. You right, Jordan? Jordan, one of the racers in the Red Arrows League. Also got the season finale next week on Monday. And Jordan did actually make a very sporadic, a one-off, in fact, appearance here at Pebble Sector as well. But yeah, good to see you, mate. Hopefully you're enjoying the race. It's currently joined at the worst moment because we've got a safety car, albeit at the top left-hand corner it says virtual safety car, but obviously if you look a little bit closer, you can see that clearly isn't the case, and that actually it's basically been sold to you in a completely different light from what it actually is. But yeah, cheers for comments for Red Arrows Racing League. This season is going to be a good race. Next week, oh for sure, absolutely. You're most welcome. I do enjoy doing the comms. Yeah, it gives me something healthy to do, and it's quite stimulating, being able to articulate and describe something that's going on live in front of me. It's basically like English literature. It's like a speaking and listening exam. I'm watching a race and I'm describing what I see. In all seriousness though, yeah, it's been a pleasure. It really has. I always enjoy doing the comms. Hopefully the league won't be on too much of a break, because I don't know what I'm going to do with myself with no Pebble Sector and Red Arrows to commentate on. I'll be spiralling into a depression, and that's not a joke. I might sound like I'm taking the piss, but genuinely I'm not. Like, I actually don't know what I'll be doing, but anyway, we shall cross that bridge when we get to it. Only 2 weeks. Oh, sweet. Thank God for that. I was thinking of doing something on Wednesday and Sunday. I was thinking of leaving Tuesday and Thursday free in case Wednesday and Sunday becomes a permanent thing beyond just the off-season Pebble Sector. But yeah, I haven't even put it together on pen and paper or notepad yet. But it's in my head. I've come up with an idea in my head. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'd love to get something up and running, because I'm very, very grateful that Red Arrows are going to be back in a couple of weeks, but obviously Pebble Sector would take the summer off traditionally, so it's going to be a real struggle for me, I think, midweek, the lack of content, but nonetheless, we've got this race, and then we got next week as well, 2 more races until we get to the most depressing time of the year. God, I sound so sad, don't I? This is partially dramatised, by the way. I will say I'm not speaking completely from the heart. There is truth to what I say right now, but I am exaggerating somewhat. This is a coping mechanism. But no, I'm sure I'll find something to do. It's not that fucking bad. But yeah, anyway, I need to just stop rambling, because this is going to get me sectioned otherwise. Right, here we go. What is going on? Why am I rambling like this? I don't even know. This is what safety cars do to me, guys. This is what safety cars do to me. They cause me to go off on one. Anyway, we've got Glenn leading us here on this restart, the champion of the Purple Sector F1 League, and he's obviously already wrapped up the championship last week. He's going to be getting us back underway. They're all trying to warm up their tyres as much as they possibly can here. So safety car is going to be driving off into the pit lane in a second. And here we go. So Glenn, he's gone. He's gone. Put to the floor. We're racing. Keep up at the start. Hopefully everybody was Johnny on the spot there. Keith Horner's got another penalty here for track limits. He's been collecting them over the course of this race. But we see here Glenn coming down this long straight now towards turn 4 here on lap 19 of the race with a 7-lap sprint left in this one. A lot of the drivers have gone for the medium tyres. One or two of them have gone for the softs. Those tyres are going to be burnt up by the end, but they'll have an advantage until the last couple of laps. Those mediums will be good all the way until the flag. But Glenn has got this slender lead here over Davidoff on this restart. Drago there right behind him ahead of Matty Pitt, who's obviously got that penalty as it's down to the pack so constituted up. That's going to really hurt him by the time we get to checkered flag here. But with 7 laps to go, there's still chances for him to certainly limit that damage that 3-second time penalty is going to do. Obviously a shame for him that you can't serve a 3-second penalty in the pit lane, because he'd have been able to do that on the safety car, and that would have really helped him out and maybe cushioned the blow a little bit. But nonetheless, Davidoff here has got a slipstream coming down towards the back end of the circuit. We can see here Freddie's made the move on Justify up into P5. Trucky's got ahead of Steve Faulkner as well up into 10th place. Justify there trying to come back at Freddie as they're side by side here, coming down to the end of the straight as Freddie trying to keep it around the outside there. Justify trying to hold it there, but Freddie gets that one done up into P5. Nicely done there from him as he now come through the final few corners here of lap 19, and it's Glenn with a very, very slender lead here over Davidoff, who's trying to put this pressure on him as much as he can here into turn 1, a little bit too far away at the moment. Dragus just waiting in the wings there behind him. Matty Pitt with that penalty. He has got a 2-second gap now to Freddie, which is going to be absolutely pivotal for him in his hopes of trying to get as many points as he can here in the foreground there. Davidoff making a move on Glenn down the long straight there, up into the lead of the race into turn 4. That's job done there for Davidoff. Look in the background there, no one making any moves just at the moment. They're all holding firm all the time being, but Davidoff there taking the lead of the race, and it'd be his second win of the week. He'll be making it the double here for week 11 of this season if he can indeed continue doing what he's doing right now. And that would be a phenomenal achievement there from Davidoff. And it would certainly go some way to, I think, soothing the blow of not being able to win the championship this season. He was in the fight for a while, but towards the end of the season it was looking increasing like it was going to be one man. It was going to be that champion of this season. Glenn has been on another planet for a lot of this second half of the season, although this week Davidoff's really responded and has certainly done his bit to stake his claim for a potential title push next season. As we see Justify dropping down the order here. Oh no, and there's a Ferrari ghosting there. That's Rexy Boy, who's got it all wrong going through the chicane. It's dropped down to 11th place there. So Rexy Boy with a big moment as Steve Faulkner there has just managed to squeeze ahead there of Justify and T, and has moved up into 7th place. So those guys, handbags there between all of them. Oh my goodness me, as that's Trucky there losing it in the background. He crashed out of the race. Trucky is, we got a safety car here with just a couple of laps left to go. That's going to surely mean that we're going to be seeing, well, I don't know, probably not soft tyres, because we'll be going racing at the end of lap 23. It'll be a 2-lap dash to the flag. I reckon the medium tyre runners, especially the ones who have got a bit of a cushion, will probably fancy their chances of staying ahead of the soft runners. I reckon no one's going to pit here. I reckon we might get 1 or 2 rolling the dice, but wow. Okay then, closing stage of the race, and this time I'm going to mute my mic so I don't talk any shite. Here we are then, everybody, back underway here for the Las Vegas Grand Prix for the final 2 laps of the race. As we got Davidoff here going to tail leading us around here. Rex Boy's going to justify up to 9th place as those guys are battling there at the back of the pack. Currently we're down to 10 runners here with Truckee and Street Boy out of the race, but Davidoff here coming down the long straight down towards turn 4 for the penultimate time in this one. Can he hold on to this lead? He's got Drauger and Glenn right behind him with Matty, Pitt, Freddie there in P5 ahead of Mark. You've got a couple of drivers here on the soft tyres, but they've got a lot of positions that they will need to gain in these last couple of laps. And to be honest, C. Faulkner and T have done plenty of laps on their soft tyres. They're not really going to have much of an advantage from them. Rexy Boy is on fresh soft tyres, but he's running in 9th place. So that would be a mountain to climb for him as well. I'm surprised that Justified didn't come in and put a fresh set of soft tyres on, because he'd have nothing to lose there running in P10. But nonetheless, Davidoff here leading the race ahead of Trauger by actually nearly a second already here. So Davidoff really settled into a bit of a groove here. Glenn was the one who looked to be the strongest after the first safety car restart. Pulled out a 2-second gap at one point, but that was, I think, down to a few little trip overs from the guys who were battling behind him. I reckon that the whole pack, the whole of the top 6 have been very evenly matched for a lot of this, and I include T. Faulkner and the rest of the top 5 in that, because obviously they were the ones who were miles ahead in that first stint. But Clem there's lost out to Freddie. Freddie's now up into 4th place and can now maybe knock on the door of a podium here with Matty Pitt's penalty. As we can see here, T and C. Faulkner battling. C. Faulkner looking to the outside now of T into turn 1. T tries to get on the inside, pushes C. Faulkner a little bit wide. Bit of a slide there from C. Faulkner, no surprise, with that Mercedes battering into the side of him. And T holds on to 7th place for the time being in that one. Back to the leaders here. Drauger's pretty close here on the back of Davidoff on his return appearance tonight. What a fairy tale return it would be for Drauger if he can get a win here, as he takes to the track here tonight for the first time in a few weeks, as Davidoff here is currently holding on to this race lead. Not by much at all, though. Drauger's going to try and throw the kitchen sink at him on this final lap, I'm sure about that. What has he got in the locker here to try and give Davidoff here? Davidoff's done a brilliant job here in this Las Vegas Grand Prix. If he can see this one out, it'll be the double for this week here, having taken the win at Brazil on Tuesday night as well. So what a week it would have been from Davidoff on a week where it was confirmed he wouldn't be able to keep the championship going any longer. But he's currently well ahead of his champion for this season and rival Glenn, who's running in P5. But nonetheless, Drauger is going to make the move for the lead with the DRS, and he's made that one easily there down towards the chicane. So now Davidoff's only chance is to send it back on the inside, or maybe get a good exit out of the chicane and potentially get the slipstream. But I don't think he's going to be able to do it, because Drauger got a beautiful exit there. Drauger, on his return here to the Purple Sector F1 League, has gone and pulled off an absolute blinder here. He comes around the final corner here at the Las Vegas Grand Prix circuit, and it's going to be the victory here for Drauger tonight, with Davidoff over in 2nd place, Freddie completing the podium with Glenn 4th, Mark 5th, Matty Pitt over in 6th place, with Rexy Boy 7th, and the rest of them all rolling in at the moment. But what a race that was, and well done to Drauger, returning to the track with an absolute bang here tonight, taking the win here at Las Vegas with a really, really superb drive. But what about that was? I mean, we had so many drivers in that top echelon of the classification, didn't we? It really was superb to watch. So well done to everybody out on track tonight. Great racing from all of the guys. Drauger, Davidoff and Freddie there on the podium places. But with that all being said, everybody, thanks everybody for joining us once again. To all the drivers watching this back, I hope you enjoyed watching it back. And if you want to get, if you want to watch it more, if you want to watch more of these Tuesdays and Thursday nights, we'll be live at 8 p.m. UK time next week. And from then, it'll be a 3-month break for the summer until racing gets underway again. So, but there'll be action on Monday night and maybe Wednesday and Sunday if this mug is talking to you right now could maybe get his arse in gear. Anyway, thanks everybody. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.